how to conquer CPAP anxiety and get that super awesome life-changing sleep that you deserve. Hi, I'm Chris with AffinityHM.com, and tonight we're going to talk about CPAP anxiety. Anxiety as a whole, we'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about CPAP, and a lot of people actually have a lot of anxiety about using CPAP, especially in the beginning. And in this show tonight, I'm going to do my best to give you some solutions and some answers and some ways to overcome that anxiety that you're feeling. We all need sleep, and sleep can absolutely be life-changing. As a matter of fact, sleep is probably the number one most important thing one can do for one's health. It affects so many things, and we've talked about that on other videos in the past. I mean, if you're not getting enough sleep, you just feel absolutely awful. And as a matter of fact, here's just a little taste and a reminder of how it feels to not get enough sleep.
I need sleep. Please just go.
You know how that feels? Like after not getting a good night of sleep, it's just nothing is good, nothing is right. We have to get good sleep. And I don't mean just, that level of sleep where you're slightly asleep and you're not getting that REM sleep or that deep sleep. Uh, Sleep is in different stages, and it's so important to get that REM sleep, the rapid eye movement sleep. So if you're not familiar with that, check out some of our other videos, and you'll understand better what rapid eye movement sleep is and how you can get it. But anxiety is actually, I've got a definition of what is anxiety. So let's start with that, just straight from Webster. I took a little picture of it here so that I could read this to you. Of course, we know what anxiety is, but let's get a little more detailed in exactly what is anxiety. It's an intense, excessive, and persistent worry and fear about everyday situations. Fast heart rate, rapid breathing, sweating, and feeling tired may occur through anxiety. So anxiety is something that we definitely need to try to get our hands around and get a grip on it. And like I said, I'm going to give you some tips and some ideas on how to deal with anxiety. Everyone has anxiety. Anxiety, you're not alone. I have anxiety. As a matter of fact, yesterday we had storms rolling through. Uh, there was a tornado in the area, and we were just hit by a tornado. I felt intense anxiety about that. Now you are here tonight because you're feeling that type of anxiety about CPAP and using your CPAP, and that's what I want to help you with. But anxiety is nothing new. We've all had anxiety from time to time. Check this out. Watch just a few seconds here.
Captain, I believe I am feeling anxiety.
And only once I got this anxiety attack.
It's just hard to learn to control the anxiety sometimes,
So, like I said, we all experience anxiety from one time or another in our lives. And what I'm here for tonight is to really discuss anxiety as anxiety relates to CPAP and utilizing the CPAP machine. So anxiety can come in many different forms. As a matter of fact, with CPAP, claustrophobia is one type of anxiety or one thing that may trigger someone's anxiety. The actual pressure that you're feeling from the CPAP machine coming into the mask can trigger an anxiety. One may ask themselves, especially when new on CPAP, is this going to be forever? I watched an interview with Shaquille O'Neal, famous, amazing basketball player. The first question he asked his doctor after learning that he had sleep apnea was, is this going to be forever, or is it just like a 6-week thing and we get off of it? The doctor answered, as we all do, that generally speaking, when one is using CPAP, it is something that you end up doing for a lifetime. I have seen some people get off of CPAP by losing some weight. If it's very mild or even slightly moderate, that can happen. But typically it is. I mean, that's the answer. But I think that people new on CPAP actually come to terms with it, and it can cause some anxiety through that process. And then finally, we're going to talk about insomnia and the anxiety that insomnia can cause. Later on in the show, if you would please comment into the comments if you want to get into the contest that we're going to have at the end. If you would just type in there, you can see it scrolling down here at the bottom. Comment the word conquer. Conquer, CONQUER. So type that into comments. That will automatically get you into the contest. All right, well, let's get into it. All right, first thing I want to talk about is claustrophobia. That's probably the most common type of anxiety that people have when just trying to get acclimated to the CPAP mask. So with the CPAP mask, as a matter of fact, many times people who have a sense of claustrophobia will be told to use like a nasal pillow or something really small, lightweight. And that is one school of thought that that's the best direction to go. Less, so that you're not feeling all of this all over your face. However, recently I've understood better that possibly it may be better the other school of thought. And that is to go ahead and go with the full face mask, the one that goes over your nose and mouth. Now, to someone that feels claustrophobic, this seems like actually counterintuitive, like the opposite of what one would need. But it actually might be exactly what you need, because with the full face mask, you can actually breathe through your nose and or mouth. Breathe in and out through your nose and mouth. And it's really more like regular breathing than would be the nasal pillows. So do consider, if you have that claustrophobic feeling about the mask, to go ahead and go with the full face mask perhaps. And here is a really good way to do that. One, you've heard me talk about first in the daytime, watch TV or watch a movie. What's a good movie? Do you guys have a favorite movie? Type that in comments, help some people out. Show them a good movie that they could watch. First thought that came to mind for me was maybe Top Gun, a movie that I love. But actually watch a movie while you're awake, or read a book, or play on the computer, or do something on the computer. Do anything that will be, where you're stationary. You can use your CPAP while you're doing something that will completely distract your mind away from the CPAP and the fact that you're using the CPAP. But even before that, let's back up a couple of steps. Here's something that is super good. You just take the hose off of the mask, take the headgear off of the mask, and just place the mask over your nose and mouth. Super easy. You can take it off if it makes you feel claustrophobic, if it makes you feel nervous or have anxiety, and just put it back on. And just get yourself used to just having that on your face. Many people who have claustrophobia use glasses. You had to get used to glasses, and it's something that just becoming more and more acclimated to it can indeed make a difference. So with no headgear, try that first. Get yourself used to just how it feels on your face, and even, watch a movie, play on the computer. And then the next step, again, not connected to the CPAP machine whatsoever, but go ahead and put the headgear on. But just put it on just like very, very loosely. And give me a second here. How's everybody doing tonight? And I'm curious, how is the weather in your area right now? If you would tell me like what state you're actually watching this from right now, and how the weather is. I'm like intensely interested in weather these days all of a sudden. So I've got the clip in on one side. I'm going to go ahead and just place this again. It's not connected to a machine. I'm going to put this on my head. I'm not going to connect it all the way around even. I'm just going to just let it sit there. If it makes me feel claustrophobic, I can just rip it right off of my face. But you'll notice that try it for 5 seconds. Try it the next time for 10 seconds. Try it the next time for 30 seconds. And it's going to become something that you get more and more acclimated to. And then finally, go ahead and clip it on. And possibly, if you can even hear me, go ahead and get it clipped on all the way. And then possibly next, actually go ahead and connect up the CPAP tubing to it and turn on the CPAP machine. So So actually, whenever you do finally get to the point that you're watching a movie or watching TV with a CPAP machine on, remember you have a magic button. The magic button is the ramp button. You can hit that ramp button, and assuming that it's set correctly, the pressure will go way down, and you can just relax and breathe and watch your movie and forget that you even have the CPAP on. So what will happen over time is that you gradually, baby steps, will become more and more acclimated to having the CPAP mask on. The claustrophobia will begin to go away, and the acclimation will begin to come in, and eventually it will become something that you're used to and that you're not having such a problem with if you're sensing that claustrophobia. So another big problem that I experience with customers and patients who are on CPAP is they talk about the pressure. And sometimes I think that people who have a problem with the pressure and the pressure is feeling too high, they think that's claustrophobia and they just want to rip the mask off. So I had a nice conversation with a young man very recently about the pressure and what the pressure is, and the fact that he said, I can't exhale all the way. And that is something that I just want to make sure we're clear and that you have a full understanding of what the pressure is all about. So you need the pressure. The pressure is CPAP, continuous positive airway pressure, CPAP. And that pressure is exactly what you need. That pressure will maintain your airway open so that rather than your airway close off and you have an apnea, whenever you exhale all the way, the airway will remain open and you'll continue breathing. So it's a good thing. And so just train your mind to understand that even though at the end of that exhalation, you're not feeling that complete exhalation of air like you would without the CPAP being on. You're not exhaling all the way to the same level, but remember this, that's exactly what you need. You need to experience that. That is the pressure that actually is keeping you breathing. So it's a good thing. So train your mind to understand that the fact that you're not exhaling all the way is not a bad thing. It's a very, 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 very good thing. And so I think that might be helpful to some people. Now, finally, I know that after using CPAP for a little while, you know, that newness, like you fall in love with someone and that newness sort of wears off and things sort of change. Well, I think that might be happening also with CPAP. So you first get your CPAP, you're all excited, everything's going well, and then suddenly you realize that this actually is, you've become acclimated to it, and you sort of realize that this is something that I'm going to have to live with going forward, probably forever. And I do believe that that can actually cause some anxiety for people, especially in the first couple of weeks to couple of months of using CPAP. The realization that all of a sudden, hey, this is it. I've got to use CPAP. And that is something that also over time, that goes away too, because and that is because of the rewards of using CPAP, becoming acclimated to it and actually being able to use it and feel good. And even if it doesn't change the way you feel, and that is the case for some people who have very mild sleep apnea, even if it don't change the way you feel, you can know that the using of the CPAP is bettering your health long term. And there are so many other benefits as well to that. So I think that the forever question is one that can cause some anxiety for people. And then finally, the last one that I wanted to discuss right now with you guys is insomnia. Now, here are the tips. If you are just having a lot of trouble falling asleep, you've done the tips on getting acclimated to the mask, and still when it's time to go to bed, you put the mask on and you're feeling this pressure, difficulty falling asleep. Number one, probably the most important one, is let's make sure first, before we even talk about all of these little deals down here, let's make sure you're not having leaks, because leaks can definitely keep you awake. Not only you, but your bed partner, your wife, your husband. Leaks can keep you awake. Plus, they affect your therapy. So make sure you're dealing with the leaks. Make sure you got the right size mask, the right mask for you. Once you get past that, then if you're still having insomnia, take a look at this right here. This is the most common things that cause insomnia. No late meals. Well, the late meals is what causes the insomnia. But if you make sure that you eat and your food fully is digested when it's time to go to bed, you're definitely going to sleep better. Make sure you're exercising on a regular basis. Don't take naps if you have insomnia. If you're not having problems with insomnia, I'm a big believer in, if your body says let's go sleep, then let's go sleep. Uh, then also a sleep schedule. The circadian rhythm is so important. So get yourself on a regular schedule, going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time. And we've talked about that on other videos as well in the past. But if anxiety persists through all of those tips that we've already discussed, then perhaps it's time to talk to a doctor. Talk to a doctor. Could be a therapist. And you guys know that I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist or any of that. I'm a guy who has set up thousands and thousands, many thousands of CPAP and APAP and BiPAP, and I've followed people through it. And so I've seen so many different things that's what I'm sharing with you. But I'm not a doctor. But if anxiety persists through all of these tips, you definitely you must talk to your doctor about it. Talk to the doctor about it, and they will likely prescribe some medication, some anti-anxiety type medication that probably is a low dose, because it won't take a whole lot, most likely, and also not forever, but just for a period of time to kind of get you through this anxiety hump, this anxiety time frame that you're dealing with, so that you can get the proper sleep that you need. Now, another thing, I didn't put it in a tab, but actually it can be a cycle too, because sleep deprived people experience more anxiety. So let's make sure we do what we've got to do to get that sleep and get rid of this anxiety. Pray is a big one. I am a big believer in praying, and also talking. Talk to your significant other about it, and do these tips. And I do believe that you will get right through the anxiety, and you soon will be posting how much it helped. And I hope that is the case. Absolutely. So if you haven't done it already, please subscribe to this channel. We're going to do the contest in just a minute. We're going to look at your comments and questions. And so we're going to have a winner in the contest. But if you haven't already subscribed or liked the page or joined the group, please do that definitely, and comment. Let me know where you're coming from. Remember, I want to know a favorite movie. Favorite movie needs to be in comments for people to scroll through and find. And okay. All right. Type in comments, #Conquer, CONQUER, and that will get you into the contest that we're going to do here in just a couple of minutes. So let's see. Before we get into the Q&A, I want to take a look at your comments. We got a bunch of comments. Goodness gracious. Okay. See, we got a lot of people here tonight. Thank you guys for being here. I see that Jane is here. Hi, Jane. How are you doing? Loretta is here. Hello, Loretta. Zachary is here, and he's already entered the contest. That's awesome. Then we got a YouTube user saying hi. Appreciate you being here, YouTube user, whoever you are, the mystery man, the mystery woman. Bob Albright is here. He's entered the contest already, I can see. That is fantastic. Diane is here. Hello. Hello, Diane. Hope you're doing well. And Joanne is here. Joanne, it's CONQUER. Oh, she got it right. There we go. Annette is here. Hi, Annette. Great to see you guys here. Let's see. We got Joanne, and Karen. Does anybody have a question? Texas. All right. Now, in Texas right now, it's back to hot again. I think we got a lot of hot coming, you guys. We got someone here from California. Joanne. Is it Flinders? Joanne Flinders, all the way in California, and it's cool today. Okay, we're jealous. Yes, we are. We're jealous. And Kimberly is here from Missouri. Bob Albright, also from Missouri. Still raining. Supposed to be a very nice weekend. Yeah, I've heard that as well. By the way, this weekend is Memorial Day. So happy Memorial Day. And to all of you veterans out there, we appreciate your service. And Memorial Day is for those who gave it all. And this is a very, very special day. These days, I see Memorial Day more clearly than I ever have actually before, because, our freedoms, they are something that we should really have a tremendous amount of gratitude for. Loretta says that in Idaho, it's 85 degrees. Wow, that's quite quite a lot. Jane is saying the weather has been terrible. Upstate South Carolina in the last week had a couple of small EF1 tornadoes last week and some today. Fortunately, they were all a little north of me. Yes, I think the same weather that rolled through here yesterday actually was moving its way up into the Carolinas. All right, so you guys, let's see if we got any questions here. Oh, my computer just jumped. I think I missed something. Okay, Joanne from over in California. CPAP keeps me awake all night. Every time I try to fall asleep, air will escape from somewhere and wake me right up. I'm pretty much a side sleeper. Any suggestions? As a side sleeper, Joanne, often what's happening possibly is the mask is getting pushed aside by the pillow, and that will spring a leak. If you're not using a mask, even a nasal pillow, it can happen. I would recommend a CPAP pillow. Perhaps there are many different ones. We do have CPAP pillows on our website, AffinityHM.com. The CPAP pillow, instead of just being flat like this, it has a cutout that is especially designed for your CPAP mask to sort of fit into. So therefore, the CPAP mask won't push aside. If that's not what it is, Joanne, then possibly you may have a wrong size mask. But side sleeping is great. That's how I like to sleep, mostly on my side. And I want to keep you sleeping on your side because you're going to get better sleep. Sleeping on your back actually causes more apneas. The only other thing that I think it would be possibly pressure changes. I'm not sure what your pressure is on, but if a CPAP pillow doesn't sound like the right solution, then talk to your provider, your doctor, and they are going to have some solutions for you, most definitely. All right. So I'm glad I'm not alone, Loretta says. And yeah, it's something fairly common. I wouldn't say that everybody has anxiety about CPAP, but it is something that, especially in the beginning, it's something that one must overcome and conquer. All right, we got Charles Carpenter. Mr. Carpenter, Charles, thanks for being here. First of all, here's what Charles has to say. I've tried to adapt to CPAP without success. I've tried it 20 times, and I'll wake up the very moment I fall asleep with the CPAP on. Well, Charles, what I would recommend is probably you need to talk to your provider, because what I've seen done in the past is pressures often are the issue. It's either the mask or the pressure. So you can play around with a mask and try different masks. You've tried 20 times, so I'm going to guess you've tried many different masks. Perhaps it's the pressure. I've seen the doctors lower the prescription initially to a very low point, for a week or 2 weeks, and then bump it up to where it needs to be for you. And there's also new information coming out these days that possibly APAP, a very wide range of pressures, might not be the best way to go. It might be better to narrow those range of pressures, or even nail it on a single pressure through the night, because the changing of the pressure sometimes is what wakes people up. Leaks wake people up. There's so many things. I wish that you were in South Alabama. I would love to work with you on solving that problem, but I do know that you have professionals in your area, so definitely reach out to those people, which you've done before, perhaps someone a little different, who can solve some problems for you. But they can be solved. I promise you. I've never ran into anyone that we were never able to get them to be able to acclimate and use CPAP. So, all right. I see more people entering the contest here. This is what I like to hear too. This is the other side of the story, is Karen K. I've been so lucky and took to the machine right away. That is the case. If I had to put a number on it, I would say about 50% of the time people take to it right away. The other 50% are the folks who either have some anxiety, leaks, mask problems, pressure problems, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you haven't already done it, join the group on Facebook, CPAP for Beginners. It's an excellent group, and it's growing really fast. There are a lot of really good folks over there on CPAP for Beginners, but it's a great place to drop a question and or communicate a problem, and you're going to get some answers, and 90% of the time they're really good answers. Diane is saying she has a CPAP pillow and it does help her a lot. All right, well, let's see. I think what I'd like to do now is go ahead and if you haven't already done it, your last chance, type in comments, hashtag Conquer, CONQUER. And we're getting ready to jump over here and actually let me share the screen so you can see that. And let's see, share screen. And we're going to go ahead and draw for the contest here. Giveaway tool, share that. So you should right now be seeing the contest, which we're going to draw this right now live. And someone is going to win a gift card to AffinityHM.com. Sorry, I clapped my hands. I hope that didn't hurt your ears just now. All right, let's see who's going to win this contest. Let's draw right now. Here we go. The winner of the AffinityHM gift card is Judy Virgilio. Judy Virgilio. Congratulations, Judy. That is fantastic. All right. Judy has won the contest for the gift card. Please email me and I will make sure I get you an email back with the gift card. By the way, you guys can collect gift cards if you want to. If you won one in the previous past and you won another one, then we'll cancel your old one, add to it, and send you a new one. So I encourage everyone to definitely join these contests. And I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. CPAP anxiety is definitely something we need to conquer. And if you are just joining late, definitely this video is going to be available on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere. And so definitely check it out if you are coming in late. So I had some tips that we went over, some tips that definitely have in the past helped many people. So it looks like we've done everything we need to do here. And so that is really it, unless there's any new questions. Let's see. Okay, got a point from Trish Green. I wake up with my nasal pillows partially out of my nair, and the air blowing wakes me up. Is there anything I can do? I use a small pillow, but do you think going to the medium pillows may help? All right, so as far as the size of the nasal pillow, what you're looking for is you want the outer circumference or the round, the largest part of that nasal pillow to seat right there on the edge of your nose. But even more importantly than that, if you are fortunately, you probably have a CPAP pillow that gave you small, medium, and large. So you probably have all three sizes. Try all of them. Try each and every size, not necessarily all night, but just, while you're awake. And I promise you, one of those is going to feel better than the rest and not leak. That's the one you want to use. But basically, it should be like from the edge of your nose, you go down right, and it's even with, as you're coming down. That's what you're looking for on the nasal pillows. Now, the other part of it is you mentioned that you sort of wake up with it out and the air is blowing. This is a really good tip for those of you who, and I've been told many times, I wake up all the time and my mask is across the room, or I've taken it off and I didn't even know that I took it off. A really good tip to do is to actually set, let's say you go to bed at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, or let's say 10 o'clock. You go to bed at 10 o'clock, set your alarm for midnight the first night, set an alarm clock. When the alarm clock goes off, obviously that's going to wake you up. You check and see, is my mask on or not? Now, that might seem crazy. You're waking yourself up. You need to sleep, right? But you're going to find that many times the mask is off. Well, put the mask back on and set the alarm clock for 2 hours later. Go back to sleep. Now, initially, you're going to want to start it on about a 2-hour kind of a time frame. But then week 2, you go to a 3-hour time frame. So you're going to bed at 10 o'clock, set the alarm for 1. Week 3, you go to bed at 10 o'clock, set the alarm for 2, and just spread that out. And then eventually, week after week, you're going to find that you have retrained your brain to just keep that mask on. Sort of your subconscious will think, well, I'm not going to take it off because I'm just going to get woke up. So that does work. That actually does work. So you just extend the time as time goes, and it can make a big difference on that mysterious CPAP mask coming off thing. All right. Well, guys, thank you all again. Next week, join me, and I look forward to seeing you here. I'm going to have some new information for you, and thanks again. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the weekend, a beautiful weather weekend, and a super happy Memorial Day. Y'all have a good night. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.